Hey guys, welcome to the Provokers Podcast, where we talk about things that you probably should too. And today I'm joined by
John, or G-Mans Stevens.
And I am your amazing host today, Ethan, otherwise known as Flabs Gaming. Now, before we get into anything, of course, we got our small talk. So, John, what's been going on with you? You're still blowing up those orphanages over there?
It's like, yeah, I'm just like, is that a new orphanage down the street? I was like, that's what I've been doing.
I gotcha. Well, besides that, how are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I'm busy with school. We have another virtual day tomorrow because of the storm that's apparently supposed to hit today. And I'm glad I don't have to take the extra 45-minute drive out to my school. It would be like, back in my day we would have had snow days. Those seem to be a thing of the past. Even my little sister doesn't have snow days. Like, she has virtual days. I'm like, yeah, so would high school. Shouldn't be allowed to have a snow day.
Yeah, that is a childhood luxury. I guess we didn't realize we had until it's gone. Not that it really matters to me anymore because I'm not in school, but it's for this next generation here. They're having virtual days, which does not sound even remotely the same. So, but yeah, as for me, I'm just been working still. By the time you guys are listening to this, I'm probably just out of training, or I'm in the last week of it. But I work in a thing where I'm on the phones and stuff. And when you're in that type of job, you start to really see the common sense doesn't really exist. It's actually just a thing that only selective people have, and then everyone else just doesn't have it. So I will not further elaborate because my job it's not secretive or anything, but there's certain things I'm not allowed to say. So yeah, but either way, it's common sense gets thrown out the window when you're on the floor. But I haven't had too many bad people. Just a couple bad apples. It's like, I've explained this to you 5 different times. You seem to not get it either time. I really don't know what to tell you. And obviously you can't tell them that. But so yeah, been doing that. We're at this point, the snow's gone. So it's all good in the hood over here.
That's nice. Yeah, we got snow last weekend. It was mostly ice, and there's still a bit of ice, on my driveway and where I parked my car on the side of the road. But for the most part, it's not so bad.
Right. Yeah, it's not too bad anymore. For the first week when the storm hit, it was pretty bad. The roads were continuously bad because it just kept snowing. I think the storm came on a Monday, and then Tuesday the roads were still recovering from yesterday. Then Wednesday we had another mini storm hit, and then Friday, and it was every other day we had another storm that would hit.
Right. And it's for me, it's been not so bad because I had the big ice storm that happened last weekend. And then I think it snowed once the other day, and apparently it's supposed to have either snow or ice tonight, because like I said, I got my in-person classes canceled, so who even knows? Well,
without further ado, I think we can move on and into the headlines. Now, the headline for today is a very wholesome headline, and that is that Markiplier's movie Iron Lung is the number 1 movie right now, as of today. When this comes out, maybe it's not, but hopefully it still is. But it got it destroyed its budget just in the opening previews. That's crazy because the budget was $3 million, and I think they raised over the $3 million just in the opening previews. That's all that's crazy. And now, from what I've been told, I think it was the movie was coming out in 2,000 something movie theaters nationwide. Now they're moving it up to 4,500 to meet the demand. So it's crazy. And I am ashamed to admit I've not gone to see it yet. I just haven't had the time, unfortunately.
Can't believe this. You should be ashamed of yourself.
You know what, John? I'm the host, and you just lost 5 points.
Oh man.
And now those points will matter, John, because Jeff over here, he's sitting at a cool 95 points. So really, you're kind of in the dumps right now.
I'll make it back.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I just haven't had the time. It's one of those things that I work Monday through Friday, sometimes even Saturday, and then Sundays I'm obviously doing other stuff. So it's difficult to get out there, but hopefully I can see it either in a theater. In a theater would be nice, but hopefully I can see it regardless. I will make it a mission to see it at some point. I don't know, because I don't know where he'd put it on. I mean, he put Edge of Sleep on Amazon, right? But then they didn't like their partnership or something. I forgot how that worked. So I don't know where he'd put it, but hopefully somewhere. So if I can't make it to the theater, hopefully it's on demand somewhere. But either way, once if that is the case, I'll make it my mission to see it at some point. That way I can enjoy the movie, because it's Markiplier, so it's going to be good. And I've been told, I've been trying to stay away from people that are spoiling it. Because I haven't played the game, so I guess it's not, I mean, I don't know, I still want to see it. I still want to go into fresh as much as possible. So anytime someone tries to spoil it, I then proceed to stab them. And then they can no longer spoil things, because obviously they've just been stabbed. It's kind of like John in his dream. So really, it's just like one of those things you can't spoil someone when you're actively being stabbed. So basically, this is a warning to anyone that's going to try and spoil it for me.
well, what about if they spoil it over online? Like, are you still gonna track them down and stab them, or are you just gonna virtually stab them?
Oh no, I'm gonna become Walter White.
I don't really see how that answers my question, but okay.
Well, see, John, what you see is I get an RV, I make meth, and then I ship it to them, and then I call the police saying, "Hey, I think this guy has some illegal meth over there," and then they raid his house like the SWAT team does, and they find it and they arrest him. And so instead of being stabbed, you're now facing life in prison.
Yeah, I think you missed some crucial parts of that show.
Nah, I don't think so, John. I don't think so. But yeah, so that is the headline for today. So good for Mark and his team, and what they're doing over there. I'm excited to see what he's doing after this. I don't know. I think me and John talked in the was it the Lunch Lady stream, that we could see him doing his own thing. Like, it won't be tied to anything, it'll just be his own movie, which this is, but it's based on Iron Long, the game. So, and with movies, you can't really do like an in space with Markiplier thing, although they are working on that. The industry is trying to work on having interactive movies where you can choose the pathway you want. But then I want to know what if once they do that, because they're going to do it. It's the technology's not that hard. Once they do it, what the line between video games and movies becomes more and more gray. Because games like, I would say Dispatch, but Dispatch ignoring the actual dispatching of it, where it's just the cutscenes and you can have the quick events turned on. You could call that an interactive movie, but you could also call that an interactive game. So where does the line get drawn between movies and games in that specific category? So I'm very curious how the industry will take that, because I see Dispatch, and obviously again, Dispatch has actual gameplay, so that's not a good comparison. That's why I said ignore the actual dispatching of it. But if Dispatch didn't have the actual gameplay, you could call that an interactive movie, because that's all you're doing. You're making choices for decision trees, and that's basically it. Because the QuickTime events, no offense, but they don't do anything. So yeah, but it's don't get me wrong, it's still a great game. And I'm trying to think of like another example, that's like that, where it's like basically just a movie. At Dead of Night. I mean, that has gameplay. So, you know what? I'm just gonna stop talking about this. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. But you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm trying to say. Is that once the movies industry does do that, where does that line get drawn? Because are you watching an interactive movie, or are you playing an interactive game? You know, where's the line get drawn there? So,
that's an interesting concept to explore, because with like movies, I go to a movie theater. I'm like, I can just shut my brain off and watch the magic on the screen. I don't want to think. I don't want to make decisions. So I wonder, like, maybe they could do that with the technology. Like I said, it's not that hard. But I wonder if it's one of those things that's like it's just not puttable. Because I imagine a lot of people be like, oh, I don't want to go to the theater just for that. I'm gonna wait till it's on streaming or Steam or whatever. Because like it'd be weird to be like, oh yes, watch the streaming service to play a game. Netflix is doing that, so
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, the technology already exists. Because I could point to think of crowd control. In the like there's the games that support crowd control. Like I think Ultimate Custom Night does, I think Minecraft does, where the player is playing the game, but the audience is the one actually making the decisions. So it's one of those things, or in those cases, I guess it's more like they're adding difficulty in making decisions. But the thing of other games like the Telltale games, where it's really just dialogue, there might be like a quick time event here or there, but really it's a lot of dialogue trees. The viewers will get to decide on what choice they pick. So the technology already exists. It's just a matter of getting it on the big screen. That's the one hurdle they got to get over. But I think they're going to get over it pretty soon. It's not a thing that I see them being stuck on for quite a while. So, but we're not here to talk about movies or games, really. Well, we'll get to that. But before we get into the actual topic, which you've read the title, and I know you're confused. I know you're like, what is this? We'll get to it. Trust me. Trust the process. So before we get into that, we have the Creator Showcase. And the Creator Showcase is us today because The Provokers, the musical, is officially out on all streaming platforms, including YouTube Music. The reason this one is being included in YouTube Music is because if you guys want to remix it, if you guys want to make a music video out of it, cool, do it. I actually encourage you to go do so. In fact, once you do it, tag us and or submit it in the email or something. However you can do it to reach out to us. I would love to see it. So yes, I encourage you to do so. But if you don't want to do that, that's over on Spotify, iTunes, everything else that exists. I really only use those things. Amazon Music, yeah. So any streaming platform where you can get music, it exists. So go listen to it now. It's a pretty good banger. And it finally completes the trilogy of songs I was originally going to do. It was originally going to be Noah's song, John's song, and my song. But obviously after what happened, that's not the case. So now it's John's song, my song, and then The Provokers, the musical, which is really funny. I got someone to design the the thumbnail, or the cover art. Cover art's the right word for that. For the cover art. So the cover art features, let me just pull this up because it is hilarious. I don't know if John's seen it yet. Basically it's me, or it's a game show guy, which is obviously a reference to me. And he is like spinning a wheel that has it's like a classic game show wheel where it has like money on the side, jackpot. I think there's a thing that says lose on there or whatever. And then there's we're on a big stage. There's an audience in the background. It's like a show. And then there's an owl in the top left corner, which is obviously a reference to John. But another reference to John is there's a guy getting stabbed in the cover art, and of course he's bald because we had to make him bald. Obviously referencing the bald joke. So, and it's really funny. It was when he brought back the final product. I'm like, oh, absolutely, this is the one. So it's really funny. John, have you seen that yet?
I have not seen it yet, but I will look out for that.
Hang on, I'll just send it to the Discord and you can look at it while I'm still talking here. It is really, is it gonna let me? Oh yeah, it should let me. It's really.
No, you can't submit that actually.
Oh, I submitted it in the wrong channel, but that's fine, whatever. But yeah, so it's
amazing.
It's me spinning the game show wheel. It's John the Bald getting stabbed in the back or getting stabbed by his brother. And also, if you look closely in the cover, you'd have to actually, I don't know where you'd be able to zoom in on it. But if you look closely, the person stabbing Bald John is purple. They're wearing purple, like a purple sleeve. And that is, of course, a reference to Purple Guy. Because, it's the whole stabbing thing.
Is my brother Willie Matthews? Confirmed?
The plot thickens! No, so I made that on purpose because me and John both love the FNAF series, and I was just like, well, Willie Matthews stabs people, and John's brother stabs people. Basically the same person. so that's why it's like that. Yeah, I personally love it a lot. And then, of course, you got The Provokers, the musical, on the top of the stage there. So, yeah, the song is officially, like I said, out now on all streaming platforms, including YouTube Music, so go check it out. Like I said, it is a banger. Obviously, if you haven't seen the Provokers the Musical episode yet, go watch that, because in that episode, me and John start to make the first third of the song. We really didn't get that far, but obviously, you're making a song. You're not going to do that. You're not going to make a whole song in less than, I mean, I guess you could. There's people that do challenges like that where they make a song in less than an hour or something, but we're not professional music makers, so we didn't do that. But yeah, so you don't have to listen to the episode to go listen to the song, but the song is just a complete homage to the podcast, with all the jokes in it. Obviously, the thumbnail or the cover art, you're seeing a lot of the jokes represented. But it's all, the song goes even further into depth like that, and it actually references some pretty personal favorite episodes. So go listen to it now, because it's pretty spiffy. Now, John, have you listened to it yet, or are you just like me not watching Markiplier's movie yet? You should be ashamed of yourself for that you haven't listened to it yet.
So I am quite ashamed of myself. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to it just yet, but
I can't believe this. I think you're fired.
All right then. It's been real, guys. See ya.
But yeah, so don't be like John and go listen to it. Go listen to it. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's high time to get into the topic. Which again, you're probably real confused right now because you're reading the title. You're like, what? What does this mean? What is going on here? I'm being fooled. So the title of the episode, because I obviously can't see it because he's not a time traveler that I know of, anyway. But he, as far as I'm aware, he's not a time traveler, so he can't see the title right now. But the title is Crossroad Chronicles Chapter 1. Now again, no one knows what that means. So you might be saying to yourself, Ethan, how are you so freaking amazing? And first of all, get your hobo paws off me before I call law enforcement. Secondly, Crossroad Chronicles, I'm going to get into right now because it's pretty nuts. So, well, this is mainly to John, but this is also to you guys, so you can kind of understand what's going on. So, welcome to the first chapter of Crossroad Chronicles. Crossroad Chronicles might sound like a game show, but it is not even close. Crossroad Chronicles is a custom choose-your-own-adventure game made by yours truly. This is a game where choices actually matter. This ain't no Life is Strange, where you basically end up in the same spot no matter what you do. All of your choices that you make in this game will have a lasting impact on your story and in future chapters. And yes, you heard that right, I said chapters. Crossroad Chronicles will span across many different episodes, each episode containing one chapter. At the end of each chapter, you will be given an assessment of the choices you made in said chapter. Kind of like certain choice-based games where it says, you and 69% of players chose to blow up the orphanage. Now obviously, this is not a game everyone can play, meaning your end of chapter overview will consist mainly of traits. Think of how the Telltale Batman games worked where it said something like, because you did this and said this to this character, they did or said this. While your story cannot be cut short, the characters around you can be, based on your decisions. Your choices truly matter, and the world and the people will change based on your decisions. If a character dies, it's your fault. If someone gets hurt, it's your fault. If you become a genocidal maniac bent on the destruction of mankind, it's your fault. Keep this in mind when making your choices. Don't just jump on the choice in the name of time. Really think about it. The story is in your hands, so make it yours. As for the viewers, unfortunately this series will not be one you can really participate in. Even if you made your own choice, you wouldn't get to see the outcome of it. On the other hand, you guys get to experience John's story, almost like watching a Let's Play. So for you guys, sit back, relax, and take a journey through Crossroad Chronicles. So John, since that was mainly for you, do you have any questions, concerns, general inquiries?
Yes, well, if I do want to become a genocidal maniac, will I get to have a cool boss fight at the end, like in Undertale?
So you want to battle Sans, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So John, if you become a genocidal maniac bent on the destruction of mankind, then yes, there will be a boss fight at the end. We actually will make you play Sans live on stream once again for the podcast, and you have to do it. And every time you die, you have to take a swig of hot sauce.
Well, that does sound like an interesting challenge idea, but I think we'll avoid that one for
now. Okay, so yeah, do you have any questions? You got any concerns you want to read?
I think I got this.
All right, so you understand that this is not a game show, that it's a choice-based game, and that there's no time limit on these choices. So make sure not to be like, this one, because I have a quick time limit, because it's like the timer bar is going down. It's not like that. Mm-hmm. So, like it said in the overview.
There is no gun to my head. Basically.
There is no gun to your head that we know of.
Okay.
So,
What do you mean?
so don't just like it said in the overview, don't just jump on the choice for the sake of time. Really think about the choices you're making. So, because each choice is designed to lead you down a different path. So make sure not to just be like, I don't know what I was gonna say at the end of that, but basically, don't treat it uh, like a telltale game where it's like, oh, this choice doesn't matter because we're gonna end in the same place anyway, type of thing. You know what I mean? So, all right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into Crossroad Chronicles Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called The Man in Red. So, let's get into it. You awake from yet another nightmare. You've been having a lot of them recently, and you're not sure why. You've never been the type of person to have a lot of nightmares, but after the new school year starting, you brush it off and get ready for another boring day of school. You gather your school supplies in your backpack and get on the school bus. As you go down the school bus aisle, you pass a few familiar faces from last year. Jacob, a person that you first met in Miss Richards' English class in 11th grade. You both shared interests like video games, music, and reading. Jessica, your middle school crush turned best friend, who you now call Jess. Last year, you and Jess shared pretty much every class together outside of health, which you were very happy about. And last but not least, Kenji, a Japanese exchange student who transferred just last year. You grew closer to him in the last year's math class as he was very new and had trouble understanding English, so you tutored him for the second half of the year. As the bus driver closes the doors, you look around at your options. So, John, first choice up here already. You can sit with Jacob, sit with Jessica, or sit with Kenji. So again, think about your choice, think about what the outcome would be in your personal mind. Obviously, you're not going to probably predict it, but treat it like an actual choice-based game.
Okay. Well, I could just sit next to the middle school crush, but that's lame. That's what everyone's expecting, And you gotta make some unique decisions here, And Jacob, I've only known him for a year because it's 11th grade. You only go up to 12. So,
yeah,
I don't like him. So I'm gonna sit next to Kenji.
Okay, so you're sitting next to Kenji?
Indeed.
All right. Sitting with Kenji was most likely the obvious choice. He's still pretty new to the district, so you would feel kind of bad for him if you decided not to sit next to him. Konnichiwa, Kenji says in an excited manner. Since you tutored him last year, you've learned a bit of Japanese. Not enough to get you in or out of trouble, but you've picked up a couple of greetings. Konnichiwa, onegaisaiku, you say. I've seen you picked up on our lingo. A little bit. Just don't ask me any other questions. Kenji, of course, laughs. So how was your summer? Did you go on vacation anywhere? Yes, actually, you say, with a smile. I went to the Bahamas with my family. We were only there for a week, but it was definitely a great time. Nice, that's awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't go anywhere special. We just kind of stayed home. You give him a confused glance. Wait, weren't you supposed to go back to Japan to visit your family? Well, yes, but that never ended up happening. I'm not exactly sure why. I was just told that we weren't going 2 days before. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. I'm sure you were excited about going. It's okay, maybe we'll go next year. But enough about that, Kenji says as he holds up a fist. How about a few games? You chuckle. When you were tutoring Kenji last year, he grew strangely attached to rock, paper, scissors. You would sit with him and play it for a few hours. So when he asked for a few games, you knew it would last the entire bus ride. And you were correct. The bus pulls into the designated spot in the parking lot as the bus driver opens the doors to let all the students out. You exit the bus with your friends. As you pass Jessica's seat, she looks down. You're not sure what it is, but you figure you'll see her later. You and your bud go your separate ways as you head towards your first period class. Entering the class, you look around to find anyone you might recognize. Unfortunately for you, you don't recognize a soul. Everyone in the class was either a new student or someone you've never talked to before. You wait for the teacher to point out your seat, allowing you to sit down. And of course, the teacher sat you smack dab in the middle of the room. You reluctantly sit down in your assigned seat and wait for the class to be over. After the teacher's long lecture, you get out of your seat and start heading towards your next class. And of course, you happen to run right into Jake, the school bully. Sometimes you wish you could just punch him in the face. Repeatedly. But that would be a crime, so you refrain for now. You exchange glances as you press each other. Surprisingly, he doesn't give you one of his famous quips. You keep walking down the hallway into your next class. As you walk in, you see your friend Kenji sitting in the back of the class. You walk up to him and say hello. Right before you sit down, you look out the window. A strange man was standing in the schoolyard. He was uncharacteristically tall, had black shoes and a strange red hat. In fact, he was wearing a suit that was entirely made of red. He was looking up at the window. Even though the sun was out, a strange shadow was cast on his face, distorting his facial features. This man doesn't look like he should be here. You feel unsettled. This man was just staring at you. Looking at you. The teacher was helping a fellow student, looking behind you, the teacher was helping a fellow student with something. Glancing over at your friend, they were writing in their journal. You should definitely tell someone about this, right? But who should you tell? Alright, so another choice here, John. So you can tell the teacher, tell your friend, or you can stay silent.
Okay, so I read a lot of books, and there's one thing that I absolutely hate when I'm reading, is when the characters refuse to go to an adult. They're like, I'm going to tell everybody, all my friends, I'm going to tell about this dangerous thing's happening. I'm never going to go to an adult. And I think that was so dumb, because it's like, if you just went to an adult, this problem could be solved. So I'm gonna go to the teacher.
Okay, going to the teacher. I got you. You decide that it's probably best if you tell the teacher. After all, if you inform the teacher about the strange man, the school would probably call the cops, right? Hey, Teach, can I show you something real quick? You say with a bit of nervousness. The teacher reluctantly walks over to you. What is it, kid? Look, there's a strange man standing outside. You walk to the side of the window, allowing the teacher to peer outside. Son, what on earth are you talking about? There's no man out here. Wait, what? You slowly push the teacher to the side and look out the window again. And sure enough, the man was gone. Wait, teacher, I swear there was a man there moments ago. The entire class was looking at you now, the teacher giving you a disappointed glare. Son, save your tall tales for English class. The teacher groaned, walking away. You sit down in your seat, but not before taking another glance outside. There was definitely a man there before, right? You can't be seeing things. No, he was definitely there. Something didn't feel right about that whole thing. Why was the man just staring up at the window? Did he know that you were looking at him? And why was he in all red? Not to mention his outfit looked like something out of the 50s. Looking at your friends sitting next to you, they give you a sad smile, like they feel bad for you too. Somehow, you brush past that unforgettable moment and wait for the class to start. The teacher stands before the class and begins giving his lecture. You pay no attention to it. How could you after you saw a strange man outside? You were definitely not imagining that guy. Even though you wish you could go running to the principal and warn him about a possible threat to the school, you know that he won't believe you either. You keep sitting in silence as you think about the strange man. You go throughout the day, constantly think about the strange encounter. You didn't see him again, but the very thought of him made your skin crawl. After several boring classes later, you finally finish the school day. Walking out of the building, you see that the big line of school buses are waiting to fill up with students. With a class of more than 100 kids, you would need about 10 buses to take all those kids home. You find your bus number 7. And you find your bus number 7, and sit down. Since you were one of the first kids on the bus, it was virtually empty besides a few kids scattered about. You sit down and set your bag on your seat as you deter anyone from sitting next to you. You remember that your school didn't make a lot of sense for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons being that the bus routes in the morning were different than the ones in the afternoon. While you were able to sit with your friends in the morning, they weren't on your bus later in the day. You pull out your phone and start playing the new version of Clash of Clans. Before the bus started moving, you catch something out of the corner of your eye. Darting your eyes over, you see him again. The man in red, standing on the nearby hill across from the school. Just like last time, he seemed to be staring at you. Not at the bus, just you. You can't help but stare back. This also confirmed for you that you definitely saw him earlier. This time, things will be different. You hold on tightly to your phone and open the camera app, and as you're about to move it over to take a picture of him, he's no longer standing on the hill. How could he disappear so fast? None of this made any logical sense. You start to wonder if he was just a figment of your imagination. After all, that's what sleep paralysis demons are, right? Just imagination playing tricks on you. A sick joke of the mind. But you weren't tired. You didn't have a history of psychosis. So what was going on? When you got home, you knew you needed to do some research on this guy. See if he's actually real. Before you know it, the bus started moving and heading on its directed path. You stare out the window the entire journey, secretly hoping you would see him again. But you never did. Or at least, you didn't think you did. You get off the bus and head inside your house. As soon as you open the door, the warm, inviting smell of homemade lasagna fills your nostrils. Your mom has her own recipe of lasagna that takes about 4 hours in the oven, so she normally starts it around the time when you get home. That way, it's ready around dinner time. She greets you with a cheerful hello and a warm hug. She asks how school was, and you tell her it was alright. You chose to leave out the man in red, knowing that even though she's your mom, she probably won't believe you either. Plus, you had to research this guy anyway. You rush to your room and jump on the computer. You put Red Man into Google and get a bunch of different responses, none of which seemed useful. You got an album of music, a movie that has worse ratings that you've ever seen, and a strange music video which you would definitely not be clicking into. After several moments of scrolling through the countless pages, you finally find something. A Reddit post about a strange man with red clothes. After clicking the link and reading the story, you finally find out that you're not crazy. The story tells of a man who had a friend that constantly said that they would see a strange, tall man that would always be wearing red. The friend apparently saw them for several weeks, and the most shocking part to you, the same friend disappeared just a month ago. As you continue reading, you find out that there was a case for the missing girl, but it was eventually closed due to lack of leads. In the comments of the Reddit post, you see other commenters sharing a similar experience, all throughout the state. Normally you would take anything that's on Reddit with a grain of salt, but in this instance you're tempted to believe them. Just to be sure, you look up these missing people cases that Reddit users are talking about, and sure enough, they were real. This man in red guy was getting stranger and stranger. First, you're seemingly the only person that can see him, then he's connected to all these missing person cases. This made you start to think how the police hadn't connected the dots themselves. Maybe they just aren't internet savvy and just rely on real-world evidence. Nevertheless, the whole situation is giving you goosebumps. You need to tell someone about this. Surely one of your friends will believe you, given this evidence and all the findings you have. But who should you tell? Jacob you've known for about a year now. You and him always pull pranks on each other, and he might think that this is one of them. Then again, if you show him the evidence you've collected on this mysterious man, he might not think it's a joke. You've known Jessica the longest, and she's never been one to push your feelings and worries aside. That being said, even this might be a little extreme. Kenji's a great friend, and he believes in certain curses and mythos, so he would definitely believe you, but he might not know what to do about it. Plus, you haven't known him for that long. Who should you tell? So again, John, choice. So you can tell Jacob, tell Jessica, or tell Kenji.
Narratively speaking, building the friendship with Kenji does seem like it would be good, but we already had Kenji on the bus. But if I was going about this, I'd be like, well, I want to tell the person I know the longest. That way they'd be like, okay, this guy is not like just making this up for no reason. This is the real deal. So I'm gonna go with Jess.
Okay, you're gonna tell Jessica? Okay. Jessica's always listened to you, regardless of how crazy you sound. You grab her phone and dial her number. It's a Saturday, so hopefully she's actually available. To your surprise, she answered immediately. Hey John, how's it going? You begin to think of an excuse to get her over here. If you just tell her everything over the phone, it wouldn't really incentivize her to stop by. Hey Jess, I'm doing alright. I was actually wondering if you could help me with some homework I have. It's really confusing and I just can't figure it out. Yeah, of course I can help. Just tell me the problems that you're having trouble with. Well, I was hoping you could just show me in person. It helped me more when I was actually seeing someone do it, Just stay silent for a second. You sure you're alright? You never actually asked for help with homework. Yeah, I'm fine, trust me. Do you think you could help? Of course, just give me half an hour, okay? I'm at the store right now. No problem, see you soon. You hang up the phone as she says goodbye. After about half an hour, you hear the doorbell ring. You open the door to see Jess standing there with her binders in hand. She was ready to help you with your homework. After inviting her in, you pull out your laptop and bring it to her. So before we do any homework, I wanted to show you something I found. Handing her the laptop, you talk about your experience, the man in red, seeing him twice. All while Jess reads the stories from other people online. She holds a confused glance before shutting the laptop. Are you sure you saw this guy? Positive. Both times. I've seen him too, Jess says. You're stunned. You weren't expecting that. If anything, you were starting to get convinced that she wasn't even believing you. Wait, you have? Yes, she says. I've already seen this stuff too. People think he's another urban legend, but I know I saw him. Where did you see him? When I was walking home from school yesterday, he was standing by a tree on the opposite side of the road. He looked like he was just staring at me. Why do you think he's so interested in us? I mean, I was walking near other people, but he was only looking at me. Same here. When I was on the bus, he looked like he was only looking at me. Jess's face turned to worry. Are we going to be alright? It's hard to answer a question. On one hand, you want to reassure her that everything will be alright, but you also know that it's not that simple. Something doesn't feel right about this whole thing. You do your best to reassure her, but you know she can sense your uneasiness. You can just try and forget about the situation as you watch a few movies that you reluctantly watched. You start your nightly routine as the sun moves past the horizon. Your family come back home from the mix of doctor's appointments and shopping. You chose not to tell any of them about having your friend over. It's not like they needed to know anyway. You go to bed and end another night. Tomorrow you need to do some more research on this guy. Clearly he's real and possibly very dangerous. After a full Sunday of just endless research, you only discovered two things. The first one being that this man in red is actually rumored to be the town's old bishop, but it's just speculation. Secondly, not everyone who sees the man in red is never seen again. Supposedly there has been one man that saw him and managed to evade him. The guy claimed that the man in red attempted to hunt him down, but he ultimately managed to escape. The local police dismissed his case due to lack of evidence. Despite this grim evidence, you're still determined to find out more about this guy. You wake on Monday morning, ready for another day of school. You haven't seen the man in red since Friday, so a part of you is still hoping you never will again. Once again, you sit with your friend on the bus. The two of you talk about how garbage next week is going to be, since it's the first official week of school. That usually means that homework is now on the table of possibilities. The two of you get off the bus and go to your separate ways. Heading to your first period class, you keep your wits about you. This guy could appear at any moment. You get to class... Sorry, hang on, I lost my place. You get to class so early that even the teacher wasn't in the room yet. Despite this, you sit down in your seat and wait for people to start flocking in. As you're pulling your books out of the backpack, you turn back around and face the front of the room. You freeze in your place. Goosebumps start to pile up on your arms. There he was, standing in the doorframe of the room. The man in red. You could see his smile more clear than ever now. His creepy, unnerving smile. Do humans even smile like that? Can they smile like that? What do you even do? He's blocking your only exit. Or rather, your only viable exit. Do you call the police? Do you try and run past him? Or do you just ignore him? Pretend he's not there? It always worked as a child. Why not now? Alright, John, so your choices are you can grab a weapon, run past him, or ignore him.
Running past him is definitely how you get murdered. It's just a bad idea. And ignoring him, too. That's just a bad idea, because then he just walks in the room and stabs you in the face. Much like my brother did. And so, I think you gotta grab a weapon.
Yeah, you're grabbing a weapon?
Yeah.
Alright. You need to grab a weapon and fast. This guy is clearly dangerous and he can't have any good intentions. Obviously nothing in here would be able to be a good weapon since it's a school. But there's definitely a few things that could be used as a weapon. Looking around, you see a pair of scissors on the teacher's desk. Right now, that's your best shot. You rush over to the desk and grab it. With scissors in hand, you and him just stare at each other, his big hat covering his eyes. You decided that you should end this here and now. You start rushing towards this man in red as he begins to walk out of the doorframe. You run outside the room and prepare to attack him, but instead you run right into the teacher. Luckily, you see him just in time to not stab him with the scissors. What do you think you're doing? The teacher says, clearly frustrated. Put those scissors away and get back in the classroom. You're lucky I don't write you up for that. Defeated, you put the scissors back on the teacher's desk and sit back at your desk. You saw him again. He just got away before you could get him. You'll try again next time. The teacher walks into the room and waits for all the other students to flock in. Once they do, the teacher begins the class. The rest of the school day was mundane, nothing special. Turns out you were right about the homework since you received 3 different homework assignments. You figured you would just do them later. What was really on your mind was this red guy that keeps appearing. Him being outside is one thing. Him being inside your school is another. I mean, how did not a single person see him? Based on eyewitness accounts, you know he's not a hallucination or a figment of your imagination. So how did no one see him in the hall? Thinking about him didn't solve anything, though. You needed to be more creative. When you get home, you get back on your computer and start to compile all of the sighting locations that this guy had. He had a lot more than you originally thought he did. Something you took note of, though, was that there was a location just 25 minutes away from your current location. You knew you needed to get as much info on this guy as possible, and if you could get physical evidence, that would be even better. You still had daylight to kill, so you go to your nearest bus stop and hop on. The bus didn't take a direct route to the location, so you had to get off at the nearest stop and walk into the woods. After walking about 15 minutes into the forest, you reached the exact location of a sighting. It felt like you were hunting a ghost. Most of the people that have seen him have mysteriously disappeared without a trace. You need to find out this guy's deal before he tries to get you too. When you reach the center of the forest, you hear twigs breaking and leaves ruffling. You hide behind a large oak tree and peek around it. Sure enough, there he was. But this time, it was the other way around. Instead of him stalking you, you were stalking him. The man in red was placing weird stakes into the ground, making sure they were nice and planted so they wouldn't budge. As if that wasn't strange enough, he starts gathering leaves and starts encasing the spikes in a circle of leaves. Not only was this guy a major creep, but he also seems to be worshipping some kind of demon. In an attempt to get a closer look, you snap a twig beneath your feet. The man in red snaps his head 90 degrees to look at your side of the forest. You duck your head behind the tree before he sees you. Did he see you? No, you don't think so. But not knowing is a problem, especially if he decides to investigate. Alright, John, so you got choices there. You can either stay hidden or run away.
I feel like, the breaking of the twig is definitely like an alert. Someone who's in the woods a lot would recognize the breaking of a branch of a human versus a small animal, you know what I mean? So I think I'm going to get the hell out of there.
Alright, so you're running away?
Yep.
He definitely saw you. You need to get out of here before he finds you. You get up and run away from the tree, trying to get as much distance between you and him. You pass several big trees before hiding behind another one. You try and peek around the tree to get a better vantage point of him. You see him peeking around the tree you were previously at. Good thing you moved. Otherwise, you would have been caught. He checks around the tree, and then starts to walk back to the strange circle. You decide to stay behind this tree and watch from afar. The man in red returns to making the circle and placing the stakes in the ground. As soon as he's done, he pulls out a sharp object and starts carving something on the nearby trees. You're too far away to see what he's writing, but you assume it's nothing good. Once he's done writing on the trees, he places a white object in the center of the circle. After he places it, he starts walking the opposite way into the woods. You wait to leave the tree until he fully disappears into the woods. Now that he was gone, you can investigate the scene. Walking up to it, you begin to see a bit more clearly what the guy was doing. The stakes were on the outside of the leaves, also in a circle. The markings on the trees were incomprehensible symbols, ones that you've never seen before. The object that he put in the middle of the circle was a skull of some kind. Not human, luckily, but some kind of animal. This whole thing spelled weird and with capital letters. You pull out your phone and take a picture of the scene, just in case you need it later. You leave the woods and get back on the bus to go home. You needed to get home and research more about this specific location. You do exactly what you do exactly that when you get home. You type in the location and try to get more info off the internet. What you found shocked you, and made you seriously regret getting involved. 10 years ago, almost to the date, there was a gruesome murder in that exact spot in the woods. All the pieces started to connect themselves. The man in red, the strange scene in the woods, the animal skull. The man in red was preparing for a ritual of some kind. This was crazy. This guy is trying to summon a demon or something at best, and at worst, a human sacrifice. You need to get to the police, and now. The sun was setting, but the time was of the essence with this. The man in red could be planning this tonight, so any lost time could be putting lives at stake. Luckily for you, the nearest police station was only a couple blocks down the road. The bus would take too long to arrive, and for that short a distance, walking would be better. Before you leave, you print out all the evidence and information the cops would need, including the picture. You speedway to the police station and immediately speak with the receptionist. Hello, I need to speak with an officer now. Are you reporting something? Yes, I have reason to believe that people might be in danger. The receptionist leaves the desk and goes into the room. She walks into an adjacent room and comes back out with an officer. He was tall, had gray hair, looked around 50 years of age, and had a tattoo on his right arm. Hello, sir. You requested to speak with an officer? Lacey here said that you have reason to believe that people may be in danger. Yes, and I have evidence too. Can we talk somewhere more private? The cop nods his head and shows you to a nearby room. The room consisted of pale white walls, 2 chairs, and a single wooden table. The cop sits in the chair facing the door. You sit opposite of him. My name is Officer Link. How can I help you, kid? I have reason to believe that someone is trying to proceed with a ritual that may include a human sacrifice. That is a massive accusation. We'd be looking at conspiracy to murder at best and homicide at worst. Do you have verifiable proof of these claims? Yes, I do. I have files and a picture of the location that he plans to do it. He? The officer questions. I don't have a name for him. I've never encountered him. I just call him the man in red. The officer chuckles. Wait a minute. Are you talking about that urban legend? No, he's actually real. Here, take a look at this. You hand him the many files on the eyewitness accounts and the location associated with them. You also hand him the picture you took on your phone of that ritual. Link takes a look at all the evidence, flipping through the many files. He sets the files on the table and sighs. Kid, as much as I appreciate you worrying about your community, this isn't evidence. All these are online, meaning there is no base or credibility in their claims. That's like having one of them be an eyewitness in court. And as for this photo, it's just a random artsy exhibit. The animal skull is that of a deer, which is legal to hunt and kill. The stakes are just trimmed logs, and the markings are legal as well. I'm sorry, kid, but there's nothing we can do. This was a kick in the teeth. Even after you gathered all of this evidence, the cops still can't do anything? If you ever do get actual evidence of a crime, if you ever do get any actual evidence of crime, we'd be happy to help. Here's my card. Link hands you a small card with his details on it. Disappointed, you leave the room and with all the files. As you leave the parking lot, you spot him out of the corner of your eye. It was him, right there in the parking lot. He was getting out of a strange-looking car, a model you didn't recognize. You instinctively hide behind a random person's car. As you continue to watch him, he pulls something out of the truck and transfers it to another car's truck. How was this guy not planning something? He had to be preparing for a ritual. You just needed to find a way to prove it. Should you approach him, or just go back home? You're in the middle of a police station parking lot. There's no chance he would do anything to you, right? Then again, the more ground you got on this guy, the better. So, John, choice once again. You can approach him or leave.
Well, I feel like leaving definitely safe to do. It doesn't give me any information, so I feel like I gotta approach, Gotta be like the guy in the horror movie who investigates rather than just leaves.
Okay. You need to confront this guy. Formally this time. You get out from behind the car and start walking up to him. Before you can do anything, he gets into the next car over and closes the door. Your chances of confronting this guy just went down the toilet. You back off and exit the parking lot. The sun was setting on another strange day. Before you go to bed, you need to get more info on this guy. Anything you could get would be useful. Obviously, the police won't help you, so you need to do this on your own. Getting back on the computer, you type in keywords like man in red ritual, ritual in woods, and other similar ones. You land on something when you type in red cult. Reading the hard-to-find article, you find that not only is this man in red extremely suspicious and dangerous, but he's also been tied to a cult called the Red Militia. The cult is rumored to kidnap and murder people to try and please their god. The article was written by someone named Billy Connors, and he claimed that he witnessed the cult in action and has a video of it. You click on his social media name and message him. You ask if the two of you can meet soon to discuss the video. As the moonlight started to shine through your bedroom, you settle into bed and get some much-needed shut-eye. You wake in the morning, ready for school. Grabbing your backpack and your supplies, you get on the bus. You notice that none of your friends are on the bus, so you decide to sit alone. While you were in school, Billy messaged you to say that he would be willing to meet with you behind the local gas station after school. You agreed and meet him in the exact spot you talked about. Billy Connors, you ask. That's me. You take note of the fact that Billy is shaking. Why are you so nervous, Billy? I'm just here to listen to your story and review the video. I'm super close to cracking this case, and you might have the last little bit of information I need. You're too young to be a cop, Billy says slightly, shuddering. I'm not a cop. I'm a civilian that's looking to stop this guy from hurting any more people. And you never answered my question. I haven't been outside in a long time. Ever since I saw him, he's followed me and tried to kill me. I've had to move 4 times in the last 6 months. Billy, that's really serious. Have you gone to the police? Are you kidding me? I've went to them multiple times. They haven't done anything. They either don't have enough evidence or the case went cold. So I've relied purely on myself to get away from that guy. I'm sorry, Billy, I didn't know. It's fine. Listen, I only came out here so that I could have an alibi. If multiple people come to the cops, they'll have to believe us. I understand. Just tell me your story. Yes, of course. So I was on my nightly walk near my local park when I thought I heard screaming. I ran to go investigate it, and I found them performing a ritual. They killed a girl in cold blood. Luckily, I got video of them doing it. You took a video instead of helping her? I know. But I was extremely outnumbered, and I had no weapons at my disposal. If I had tried to help her, I would have gotten myself killed, and no one would be here to give you the proof. Fair point. Billy takes out his phone and flips through a bunch of videos. He flips his phone so you can see it. Watching the video confirmed his story. The man in red with a bunch of other people started cutting up a young woman on a table. It also proved your suspicion. The scene looked exactly like it did in the woods yesterday. The stakes in the ground, the leaf circle, the markings in the trees. It was all the same. The video ends with Billy making noise and being chased by some of the cult members. I managed to outrun them, but one of them must have seen my face because they've been hunting me since that day. More pieces of the puzzle starts to come together. You're probably the only one with evidence of their crimes. You could put them all in jail, or worse. They want you off the map. Exactly. Do you see now why I can't come outside much? I don't even get to come outside to get my mail. So why trust a random person on the internet that you've never met before? Because you're the only one who actually believed me. Everyone on the internet thinks that this video is edited or fake. You actually believed it. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how much longer I have. Billy, what are you talking about? I don't know. I just have this feeling that time came to a stop. You heard the bang. Then your ears began to ring. You saw the light from Billy's eyes drain. His blood splatter on you. His lifeless body falls onto the cold earth. You freeze. Only your eyes dart around. A bullet hole penetrated Billy's skull, killing him instantly. Your body unfreezes, just long enough for you to see who did it. The man in red, holding a desert eagle on the other side of the gas station, was just standing there, watching his work. You wanted to run. You wanted to hide. But you couldn't. Your body was locked in place. You were waiting for him to kill you too, waiting for the inevitable. But the inevitable never came. The man in red lowers his gun and leaves the scene. Still in shock, you look back at Billy. You get on the ground and try to resuscitate him, but nothing works. He's gone. You need to do something. You can't just sit here and do nothing. Alright, John, it's a choice. Call the police, chase the man in red, or grab someone nearby.
I'm gonna have to call the police, because if not only did I see this guy just get murdered right in front of me, I try to resuscitate him, which means my fingerprints are on the body, and if I don't report it, it might seem suspicious, and then I get arrested, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna call the police.
Okay. So you're calling the police?
Indeed.
You need the police here now. A man was just shot in broad daylight. You grab your phone and try to call the police. Even though it was 3 numbers, you kept mispressing due to your hand shaking. You finally managed to call them. After talking with the dispatcher, they send units to your area. Once they arrive, they start questioning you and examining the crime scene. After several minutes of questioning, they convince you to take you to the station for further questioning. You get to the station and once again meet with Officer Link, who brings you to an interrogation room. So I just want to make sure I get your story straight. You said the man in red was the one who killed that man, correct? So your choice is that you can either confirm or deny.
I confirm.
Yes, that's correct. He was the murderer. I see, Link replies, writing stuff down. Next question. You said that the assailant had a Desert Eagle as a weapon. He shot once, shooting the victim in the head, which killed him instantly. Is everything I just said correct? So again, confirm or deny?
Confirm that.
Yes, that's correct. Link nods his head and continues to write stuff down. When the victim was shot, you said he fled on the eastern side of the gas station, and you didn't attempt to chase after him, did you? Confirm or deny?
Did I confirm that?
Yes, that's correct. Even if I wanted to chase him, I was still in shock. I understand, Link says, writing in his notes. Now, I can't help but notice that you are once again claiming that you saw this man in red. Last time we chatted, you claimed to have evidence against this man, when in reality you didn't have anything. Is that correct? Confirm or deny?
Confirm.
You didn't want to admit it, but you really didn't have any verifiable evidence. Once again, he was right. That's correct, officer. That's what I thought, son. You didn't appreciate his tone. Okay, kid, we're almost done. I just need a full witness statement. Please start from the beginning and tell me exactly how everything unfolded. He wants the full story. If you tell him why you and Billy met, he definitely won't believe you. He already doesn't believe that this man in red even exists. Maybe you could withhold some of the truth? Make up part of the story? So, John, your choices are you can tell the full story or withhold the truth.
Yeah, I feel like this guy is clearly just hell-bent on the fact that I didn't see any of this, because they're like, oh, no, you didn't see a guy murder someone right in front of you. So this guy clearly doesn't believe me. So I don't see why I would give the full story.
Okay, so you want to withhold the truth?
Yep.
Alright. You can't tell him everything. He already doesn't believe you, so it's probably better if he doesn't know why you and Billy met. You tell your story, but conveniently leave out the part with Billy. Thanks for that, kid. We'll write your statement down in our files. We'll contact you for additional information. You exit the room and leave the station. You feel slightly guilty that you withheld information, but you know it's better this way. You make it back home, still shaken from everything that happened. The image of Billy's lifeless eyes flash every now and again. It's something you'll never get out of your head. But you can't let Billy's life be in vain. Obviously, the police in this town is completely useless, so only you can stop this guy now. You need to do some last-minute research about the cult and their practices. You need as much info as you can gather before you can confront them. With how crazy the day has been, though, you can't bring yourself to do it. So when you get home, you get in your bed and go to sleep. As the sun rises on the next day, you get up, go to school, and prepare for another day. Luckily, your friends were back. Well, at least Kenji and Jacob were. Jacob made up the lame excuse of food poisoning. He's done that before. He just skipped. As for Kenji, he was grounded for not getting a perfect score on the recent entry exam. With his strict parents, you didn't want to question him too much. Besides that, school was extremely mundane, and you didn't see the man in red at all today. So you head home and get back on your laptop to do some more research about the Red Militia. You found the basics: human sacrifice, multiple locations, linked to missing person cases. It was incredible that the police haven't put the pieces together yet. You've done it in an hour. One of the more frightening things you found is the connection between all the missing person cases. They were all female victims, all around the same age. It was sickening that someone would do this. You also find out that the Red Militia always does the rituals on the second Friday of every month. That was today. Suddenly you begin to feel an overwhelming sense of dread. You couldn't move. With as much strength as you can muster, you grab your phone and dial Jess's number. It rings several times before it plays her voicemail. You try again. Same thing. Again and again. You put your phone back into your pocket and run out of the house. Ever since you were kids, you've been in her house so many times you know it by the room. You run down the street and then down the other. Then another. You finally reach her house and pound on the door. You don't stop pounding until someone answers it. Just as Mom answers it, face full of shock. Hey, what's wrong? Hey, have you seen Jess recently? No, sweetie, I haven't. She went to a sleepover at her friend's 2 days ago. What friend? You ask frantically. Her friend Elena. She lives right down the street in that yellow house. You leave the porch and rush over to their house. After several seconds of knocking, Elena herself opens the door. Was Jess over here recently? No, I haven't seen her since Tuesday. Her mom said she had a sleepover here on Wednesday. Well, we were going to, but she texted us that she wasn't going to make it after all. Your gut feeling only got worse. You run off of Elena's porch and continue running into town. Jess was missing. Any time wasted could be the difference. You barge into the police station and yell out. Officer Link and a few other cops are in the reception area. You see Officer Link's worried expression as he rushes over to you. Kid, what's wrong? I need to file a missing persons report. Okay, kid, just calm down. What happened? My friend Jessica hasn't been seen in the last 48 hours. We don't have much time. Your eyes will be becoming blurred from fear. One of your best friends is missing. Alright, son, come with me. I'll take your report in the room back here. Link takes you to the back room of the station and opens the door. He gestures for you to go inside. The room was similar to the interrogation room, just without the one-sided mirror. As you step into the room, everything goes dark. You can't think. You can't feel. It's nothing. Did you faint? Your eyes were getting blurry beforehand. Did you hit your head on the door? No, that couldn't be possible. You're not that tall. As you were stuck in the void, you start to hear crickets, wind, nature. Then you start to feel again. Your hands, together. Your legs, together. Your eyes begin to open again. And yet you still only see darkness. You hear chatter along with the nature noises. You couldn't make out what anyone was saying. Your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness. Something was covering your head. As your mind's fog starts to lift, you realize that your hands and legs are tied. Your legs tied together, your hands tied to a hard surface behind you. What was going on? The last thing you remember is being at the police station. You hear leaves crunching coming closer to you. The mask covering your head gets removed by a tall figure standing above you. After a few seconds, your eyes adjust to your surroundings, although you wish your eyes could be covered back up. Several men in red suits were standing in a line, with one of them standing right in front of you. Most of them were holding a variety of weapons, guns, baseball bats. You were in the woods. Big trees lined the border of your vision. Torches were placed on a few trees to give enough light to the surrounding area. Ah, looks like he's awake, the man above you says. What have you done? Where am I? Good job on getting him, Link. Someone from the formation steps forward and lifts up their hat. You couldn't believe it. You heard the name, you see the face, but you still couldn't believe it. Officer Link was standing right alongside the man in red. Of course, he was getting a little too close to our operation, so I had to make sure he was silenced. Plus, I found out that he's friends with the sacrifice tonight, so it's only fair that he gets to watch. What is going on? Where am I? Oh, kid, you're in way over your head. You wanted so badly to find out what we were doing that you looked up everything about us. What? How do you... The second time you came to the station, I put a tracker on you and hacked your computer. Link interrupts. I watched every search after that. You're part of this crazy cult, Link? I thought you were just a police officer. Oh, I am. I just have other activities that I participate in. We're wasting time, the man in red says. We have a sacrifice to make. Both the man in red and Link back away from you. All of the other men started to form a circle around a large table. There was something on the table, but you couldn't make it out. Just because we have a witness does not mean we go off script. We do this exactly by the book. Watson, guard our prisoner. One of the men with a gun comes over to you and points the weapon at you. The man in red uncovers what was on the table. Your worst fear realized. Jessica, your best friend, was on the table, ready to be sacrificed. So, John, that is the end of Chapter 1. So, any final thoughts on the whole thing before we do your end of chapter evaluation?
I knew you couldn't trust the cops.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's all I gotta say.
Well, okay. What about everything else, though?
That makes sense. That's logical. And pretty average sort of stuff, as you see. Things like that happen on my day to day.
Right.
It's interesting for sure. This cult thing and clearly corruption in the police force. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it will continue in Chapter 2, which will come out, obviously, in Season 3. Because, I had a choice to be like, because it was already done. Chapter 1 was already done like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, well, I could wait and just like release it in Chapter 3. It'll be a Chapter 3 thing. But I'm like, no, I want to just do the first chapter now, and then just Season 3 might have a couple chapters, and then, all that good stuff. So that's the plan with that. But that's why I made the decision. I'm like, no, we should do it right before Chapter 2's ending. I think that'd be pretty good. Tie it in with everything else that we've accomplished in Chapter 2. So yeah, as a story, John, how do you feel you personally did as a decision maker there?
I feel like I did pretty decent. I mean, maybe some of my choices were bad, considering this was in fact not a good guy.
Right.
The whole thing is, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like I was getting people murdered.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
well, at least
Billy died, but
it was not my fault.
Well, you were the one that met up with him. You brought him into the open. Just saying, John. It's going to be left on your conscience. You're going to have to deal with it.
Oh.
So let me just double check a couple things here. Okay. So, like I said, the chapter evaluation is going to be kind of like they are in the Batman Telltale series. I don't know if you played that, John. But it's like, instead of being like, oh, you and 69% of players did this, because obviously I don't have that statistics. It's going to be kind of like what they do in the Batman games, where it's like, oh, because I'm trying to think of one, because you didn't trust Two-Face, so he became angry or something like that. But how they choose to write it. So it's going to be kind of like that. So just so you're aware. So Kenji was left excited. You chose to sit with him on the bus and continue your friendship. Jessica was left disappointed. You chose not to sit with Jessica on the bus, and she had to return her gift. So she would have given you a gift if you had sat with her. Jessica was left worried. You warned her about the man in red, but she got captured anyway. Officer Link was frustrated. You withheld the truth, and it costed you greatly. So there's that. And you didn't really interact with Jacob, so you don't get anything on him. Let's see. And it looks like that's all. That's what you get for this one. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be more choices in the future chapters. The first chapter always has to be like build the foundation of what's going on here. It has to build the foundation of the characters, the relationships of the characters, and that kind of stuff. So there's going to be more choices as you go along, but that's probably, from what I can see, based on your choices, that's all you really get out of this one. So yeah, Jessica was left disappointed. You chose not to sit with Jessica on the bus and had to return her gift. Jessica was left worried. You warned her about the man in red, but she got captured anyway. Officer Link was frustrated. You withheld the truth, and it costed you greatly. And then Kenji was excited. You chose to sit with him on the bus and continue your friendship. Those are the choices you have made, John. So there you go. Now, what I might do for you guys is in an extended cut, not any new ones coming out soon, but once this whole Crossroad Chronicles is over, what I'll do for a couple extended cuts is I'll walk you guys through like the opposite choices or like the other pathways John could have went down in the different chapters we have. So. Don't worry, it's not over just yet for chapter 1. Obviously, we're going to be following John's story until the end, of course, but once that's done, we'll go back and the extended cuts, we'll walk through the some alternate choices and alternate pathways and stuff like that. So, yeah, John, any final statements about how'd you like the story as a whole?
Been pretty good, I enjoyed the mystery, and like I said earlier, looking forward to seeing where this goes out, and police are untrustworthy, as always.
Yeah, so the Officer Link, if you remember the description of him, it is literally Link from Good Mythical Morning. So, it is what it is. But, so you've heard it here first. Don't trust that guy. He's crazy.
Don't trust Link from the Mythical Morning.
I mean, it's clearly a story based on true events. So, I mean, obviously.
Of course. This has actually happened, obviously, to me.
Right, of course, yeah. So, so I was still kind of writing when you were kind of answering it. But you said overall you think you made some pretty good choices?
Yeah. I feel like if I had given the full story to Link's, given, like, in retrospect, it would have been like, well, he just went off and kidnapped me, so he probably shouldn't have that information. So that he doesn't.
Right. Yeah, there's a different thing for if you did tell him the full story, because the one you got was Officer Link was left frustrated because he knew you knew. That makes sense. He knew you knew. He knew that you knew that you knew that I knew.
Right.
And so he was waiting for you to tell him so he can confirm it. But obviously, since you withheld the information, he was frustrated that you withheld the information. Because as it says in the end, he put a tracker on you and he hacked into your computer and started browsing started being able to see what you were browsing and stuff like that. So he already knew that you were aware of what was going on. But yeah, so let me know how you guys liked it in the emails or comments, wherever you can put it. I had a blast making the first chapter. I mean, again, like I said, there's gonna be more choices in the future chapters because, like I said, it's a foundation of sorts. But yeah, I had a great time making it. I'm now going to be able to continue with chapter 2 and onward. So yeah, chapter 1, The Man in Red. I think that's I haven't decided if I'm going to put the title of each episode being like Crossroad Chronicles chapter 1 and then the name, or if I'm just going to do Crossroad Chronicles chapter 1. Haven't figured that out yet. But we will see. Maybe obviously you can already see it. So whatever it is now, that's my choice that I made. But I don't personally know. So, because this is a game that John just played, there's really no points to dish out. I mean, I'm not going to confirm or deny whether he made good choices or not because he doesn't get to know that until this game's over. And then I can be like, John, you buffoon, your choices sucked ass. What are you doing? Or I can be like, John. I'm like, John, how did you perceive all the good choices? How did you do that? Like, I'm not going to confirm that until the end. So there's no way to do points there. So John, you lost actually. You don't get any more points. Because you lost 5 points at the beginning for that offhand comment towards me. Jeff won. So good job, Jeff. And yeah, Jeff actually didn't get Billy killed. So good job, Jeff. So you actually get bonus points for that. And yeah, it just has to be like that, John. So unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do, you know. So, but all right. That's gonna do it. Even though it doesn't matter because you're still hosting the next episode, but you know, whatever. But before we end, I do have to make one more announcement. I should have made it at the beginning. You guys are running out of time to submit the Google form for the season 2 finale segments. So again, if you have not heard of that, I'm allowing you guys to pick the 3 segments that we're going to be doing in the season 2 finale. Now, I'm trying to remember. I think it was absolutely necessary. The episode in the description. The Google form is in the description. So click on that. I think one other episode, either before or after, has it as well. But go click it. If you can't find it in the episodes, go over to our Instagram or Twitter at the Provokers Podcast Official or at Provokers Pod, respectively. and go click it over there, and then you'll be able to get taken to it. You have a gold pick, a silver pick, and a bronze pick. So make sure you submit each of those, and then they'll be calculated within a couple weeks here for me. By the time you're listening to this, it's going to be within a couple weeks. So in those couple weeks, or at the end of the couple weeks, I'm going to be closing the Google form, meaning you won't be able to submit it anymore. So you only have like 2 or 3 more weeks to submit those. So get those in now. You're running out of time, so go do it. But with that out of the way, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. So thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you provoked the conversation and made you laugh along the way. You can find me over on YouTube at FlabsXE Gaming, having a lot of good stuff over there. You can also find me over on Fiverr if you need any sort of writing gigs. Happy to help with stuff over there. You can find John in 3 places, 2 times on YouTube at Jeebins Phoebens and at Jeebins Phoebens VODs. And then you can also watch him live on Twitch at Jeebins Phoebens, of course, and see all the action happen unfold in real time. And of course, I just kind of promoted it already, but Twitter/X, however you call it, I guess, on Instagram, so Provokers at ProvokersPod and at Provokers Podcast Official. And we have our own YouTube channel now, so the Provokers Podcast. All the episodes used to be over on my channel. We have gone away with that because we wanted the Provokers Podcast to have its own channel, so it does now. So go subscribe to that. Go listen over there if you don't want to listen to it anywhere else. And of course, we got the songs. So we got Next Up John, Next Up Ethan, and now the Provokers the Musical. So go check out all those songs wherever you get your songs. Have a good time. And of course, we still have the Patreon, so have all the tiers and stuff, and the extended cuts. We're currently making some more extended cuts for you guys, so that way you get some more juicy content, you know. And the higher the tier, the more benefits you get, obviously. And if you do become a member over on one of the tiers, you get access to an exclusive Discord only or Patreon only Discord server, and it's a lot of fun over here. So we're currently working on it. I'm not going to say too much, but in the next episode, I'm going to be doing something again. That's all I'll say for that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.